Okay, so here are the instructions on how to complete the color mixing chart, and this is for 3D Design 2 and 3. I'm having you complete this assignment prior to painting your ceramic project. This is meant to just be an exercise in color mixing, also for you to see the range of colors that you can create using the colors that I gave you in your acrylic painting kit. So to complete this worksheet, you will need this worksheet. You'll need a cup of water. You'll need your paint palette. You'll need some paper towels and some paint brushes. Now you need the paint palette because you'll be mixing colors on here. I do not suggest mixing colors directly on the worksheet because that's being lazy. You should be also rinsing off your paintbrush with a paper towel and the water that's in your cup. And there is a separate video that you will see on how to clean up after using acrylic paint, because if you don't clean the paint out of the brushes very well, you end up with crappy brushes for the rest of this unit. So I'm not going to demonstrate every single color here in the worksheet. I'm just going to demonstrate a few areas, but I do want you to change something on this worksheet. Notice the top here. I want you to change this one. So I'm having you merge, get rid of this label, and I want you to relabel it as white. Okay, so this is going to have to do with white, and we're going to keep the one at the bottom for black. So what's going to happen is you're going to be using some pure colors and mixing some colors. So the way this works is in this spot here, you're going to be painting pure red, because red and red. For here, it's orange plus orange, so you're going to have a pure orange. For here, you're going to have a pure yellow. In this spot, this is a pure green. You do not have to label this, but I'm telling you. This is going to be a pure blue. This is a pure violet or purple. This is a pure brown. And this one here, which I know we really can't see the circle, this is going to be a gray because it's going to be white plus black. So this worksheet kind of functions like a multiplication table. So in here, you're going to be mixing red and orange. Here, you're going to be also mixing red and orange. Right here, you're going to be mixing blue and yellow. In here, you're going to be mixing violet and brown, and you have these colors. So in this section here are going to be tints. In this section here are going to be shades. Shade is color plus black. This is color plus white. So I'm going to first just demonstrate some of the more obvious ones. So for example, for red, we're going to paint this section pure red and try to stay within the lines. And remember, acrylic paint stains your clothes, so you don't want to get paint on you. If you do, it's very hard to wash out. So I've done my pure red there. That's all I need to do. You don't need to worry about layers, because again, this is a focus on color mixing. So what I'm going to do next is just rinse out my brush. Now, I could go ahead and just do all the pure colors, or I could jump around if I want to. For the sake of time, I am not going to demonstrate all the pure colors. It's just the color that I gave you. You don't have to make green. You just use the green that I gave you. But let's say for the red-orange. Red-orange is a tertiary color, so to make red-orange, you need to mix red and orange together. So I have my orange, I have my red. Now when you open up the paint, if you notice that it's kind of separated a little bit, that is the polymer medium. Polymer makes the paint kind of plasticky. That's what makes it acrylic paint, so you can just mix up the paint if necessary. But I am rinsing off my paintbrush because I want to make sure it's clean. And then I'm getting rid of all the water using the paper towel. Okay, so when you mix two colors together, the suggestion is starting with the lighter color first. So I'm going to start with orange, and I'm going to put it right here into the palette. Now I need enough red-orange to go to here and here. So I'm going to make sure I mix up enough. And when you mix up your red-orange together, you'll get kind of a ketchup-y color. Now I know here on the video it may not be super obvious, but when you paint it on the paper, you will start to notice a difference. Okay, obviously I need to work on staying within the lines. And what's nice about acrylic paint, folks, is if you mess up, as in you put the wrong color in the wrong area, you can paint over it. All right. Now we're gonna do the red plus yellow. Now you're thinking, well, red plus yellow makes orange. That is true, but what happens when you actually mix it on your own? So we're gonna take yellow, because yellow is a lighter color. We always wanna start with the lighter color. If you start with the darker color, then you're gonna have to work harder to mix those colors together. So I'm gonna make my own orange by mixing the red and yellow together. Now it might kind of look like the orange, it might look like the red-orange, but ideally it should be some form of orange. So again, this is red plus orange, or yellow, sorry, this is yellow and red, and this is also yellow and red. So as you can see, as you complete the color mixing worksheet, you'll end up with a spectrum of colors. Now, you'll notice that you can see the brush strokes here. That is because the yellow paint and the orange tend to be a little thin. So that's something to keep in mind when you paint your ceramic project. Okay, we're gonna hop around a little bit here on the worksheet. We're gonna take care of the blue, because I wanna do a bit of a darker color. So we're gonna paint pure blue. How do I know to paint pure blue here? Well, blue and blue, it lines up, so this area is pure blue. I know on the screen it looks pretty dark, but it's the pure blue that I gave you. Now, we're gonna mix up the blue and green. When you mix blue and green together, you get kind of a turquoise teal color. And so I have the green here. It does look really dark on the screen. This is the blue, also really dark, but you can kind of see a little bit of a difference. So we're going to take some of the green, which is a lighter color. And you can see that there. I'm going to add some blue. I'm starting with the green and adding the blue because green is the lighter color of the two. When you mix them together, you get kind of this blue-green color. I know on the video here it looks a bit just more like a regular blue, but in real life, it's more of a turquoise color. And sometimes I find when you paint it actually on the paper, then you can see the color a lot better versus when you're mixing it together. Okay. All right, so that's blue and green. Blue, green mixed together, green and blue mixed together. Now, let's do the black. So for this section down here, this is red plus black. Now you really don't need a lot of black. That's what you're going to find out. Now if you open up your black and it looks kind of like this where it's separated, again, this is the polymer medium. It just needs to be mixed up a bit. But you really don't need a ton of black for this. Okay, just mixing it up there. And I'm getting rid of the excess off of my brush here. Again, you want to get rid of all the paint from the brush. Also, folks, if you notice your water gets really muddy at some point, it will happen. You can rinse out your own water while working on this worksheet. It's very hard to just do everything with just muddy water the whole time, because if your water is muddy, it's going to be harder to clean off your brush because, again, it's saturated, right? Not a lot of water is really cleaning that. So to do the black, you need to start with the color. So you might want to write this on your paper, but for this section, start with the color because all of the colors are lighter than black. So on my paint palette here, so what you're doing is you got red plus black, orange plus black, yellow plus black, etc. I don't suggest using a lot of black because if you use too much black, well, then you have a really dark color. You just need enough on your palette to be able to mix it up. So I've got a little bit of black here, and looks like I need a bit more. to mix that together. And the point is you're making the color darker. So now I have a shade, a dark red, which I'm going to paint in here. I wouldn't go super dark. If you go too dark, it's going to be hard to see the color. So that's why you do not want to start with black. If you start with black, it's actually harder to make your color lighter. You have to use more effort. Now, for the side of white, remember we relabeled this as white. My suggestion is for this area, start with white. And I'm making a note on my paper, so if I'm doing this on my own, then I know, okay, I need to start with white. So let's just go back to red. So for here, on my paint palette, I'm going to start with white. So I've got some white here, and I'm going to grab some red. And yes, that makes a pink, because red plus white is pink. So you're only doing tints on this side, and you're only doing shades on the bottom. You're not doing it anywhere else. And again, the point of this is an exercise in mixing colors and just a good refresher on mixing colors with paint, because it works a little bit differently than glaze, a little bit differently because of the medium. And for the corner down here, you're going to mix black and white together. So again, I do suggest starting with the lighter color, which would be white, and then grabbing some black. And we need a little more black so we can see the color change. And from that, we have a gray. It's okay if you labeled things and the words stand out from underneath. Now, in Canvas, you will be taking a picture of this completed worksheet. The whole thing should be completed. Nothing should be empty. Again, the point of this demo was to show you how to get started. If you have questions or you need help, please check in with Miss J during class.